If you've ever felt yourself forgetting your Quran memorization, especially after just revising, you are not alone. This week, while I was revising Surah Hud, I kept making the same mistakes in the same verses again and again. I'd sit with my mushaf after doing the house chores and attending to my kids and think to myself, Insha'Allah, I'll finally get those mistakes right today. But subhanallah, the moment that I began reciting to my teacher, those mistakes just kept showing up. The ayat that I once knew off by heart just faded away, subhanallah. After class, I'd tell myself, it's fine, I'll fix it before the next lesson inshallah. And then I'd get up and tidy the toys that were still scattered across the lounge room. But the next lesson came and still the same thing happened again. Deep down, I know the problem wasn't my memory. It was my method and my timing, subhanallah. The mistake that I was making was that I was giving the Quran whatever was left after everything else, after the cooking, the cleaning, playing and attending to my kids, subhanallah. Subhanallah, I know that forgetting one's Quran memorization is a problem that we all face, subhanallah. I get so many messages, especially on Instagram, from women asking questions along the lines of, I don't know how to revise. How much should I revise each day? And should I stop and revise? Or should I just keep memorizing my Quran? Subhanallah, these are good questions, but they're not the root issue. These are surface level symptoms of something much, much deeper. I've decided to coin this the leftover time problem. Most of us give the Quran whatever energy remains after everything else. After the morning rush, after the school drop-offs, the laundry pile and the dinner prep, after we are exhausted and burnt out, subhanallah. Then, with only a tiny bit of energy left, we are ready to revise. But when we open the Quran, we expect to remember what we once memorized quickly and easily. Subhanallah though, the Quran doesn't stay firm in leftover time. Subhanallah, Dr. Mish'ala al-Falahi actually reflected on this, and it's a striking reflection, subhanallah. He mentions in a quote, and he says, for over 20 years I tried to perfect my memorization of the Quran, but I only truly succeeded when I stopped giving the Quran my leftover time and instead gave it my best time. When I made the Quran the center of my day, not the afterthought, that is when I found the springtime of my heart and the joy of my life. Subhanallah, 20 years of striving, and the breakthrough came not from changing his technique, but from changing his timing with the Quran. And for us women, that might mean reciting before the house wakes up, even if it's just for 10 quiet minutes, or listening to our revision while folding laundry, or revising with our kids beside us so they can grow up watching Quran as part of normal life. Now, if I asked you right now to recite a surah you've memorized and you said, I need to revise the surah first, that means that your memorization isn't firm. True Hifdh means being able to start from any verse at any moment because it's not stored in your short-term memory, it's instead rooted in your long-term habit. Remember that mistakes are natural, but when the same page collapses every single time you review, the problem isn't bad memory. Your problem is not having a system that builds rhythm and repetition into your life. Subhanallah, the Prophet ﷺ actually warned us about this. He said, keep reviewing the Quran, for by the one in whose hand is my soul, it escapes faster than camels from their ropes. This is a Sahih hadith, subhanallah, and this hadith isn't gentle encouragement. It's a neurological truth. Memory fades unless it is revisited quickly and regularly. Subhanallah, modern science actually confirms this with a curve called the forgetting curve, which refers to the natural decline of memory over time without revision, subhanallah. So in other words, The Quran will not stay in your mind just because you love the Quran. It stays because you protect those ayat that you've memorized through consistent review. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Quran as وَإِنَّهُ لَكِتَابٌ عَزِيزٌ, and indeed it is a mighty book. The words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are noble. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Quran as Aziz. These noble ayat don't remain with those who treat these ayat casually, subhanallah. I want you now to think about the surahs that you never forget. For example, Surah Al-Fatiha, which we recite in every prayer, and Surah Al-Kahf, which most of us recite every Friday, because you never forget what you revisit often. And it's not by chance, subhanallah, it's because of being consistent. The goal now, inshallah, is to shift from motivation to system. Most people rely on motivation. They pick up the Quran and read or revise or memorize when they feel inspired. But subhanallah, revision depends on rhythm, not just emotion, not just when we feel like it. So if you want to retain what you memorize, you need a daily retention loop. A set schedule that allows you to revisit the Quran consistently and embeds the ayat that you've memorized in your long-term memory. And again, especially for us women, rhythm often means flexibility, where we fit the Quran into real life, not waiting for the perfect moment. For example, if you're driving your kids to school, you can recite the Quran while you're in the car, or even turn the Quran on for everybody to listen while you're driving, inshallah. And just as a side note, this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to create a Quran course that helps you connect with the Quran every single day and build that rhythm, especially as a busy woman, no matter how busy life feels, subhanallah. Inshallah, I'm hoping to launch this in January 2026. And in the course, I will be teaching the exact structure that allows you to revise confidently, stay consistent even with a full household, and make Hifdh part of your lifestyle, not a phase that you just start and stop. If you'd like to join the waitlist, inshallah, I'll pop it in the description below. For now, let's focus on where we can start right now, inshallah. The first thing we must do is to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. In every sujood, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the Quran firm in your heart, because honestly, you cannot be successful without His help. The second thing we need to do is to seek forgiveness often. Sometimes the reason that we forget our revision and our memorization isn't ability, but instead it's the heaviness that we carry from the sins we haven't cleared, subhanallah. Thirdly, we need to keep saying La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. By saying this, it's a reminder that you can't move from being neglectful to being consistent except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. Number 4 is to have a daily wird. And what this means is that you have a small daily portion that you actually stick to, even if it's just a few ayat. Because what matters isn't how much you do, but that you do it every single day. And finally, inshallah, pray with the ayat that you've memorized. Revise the ayat in your nawafil salah. That's how they become firm in your heart, subhanallah. Use your sunnah prayers as an opportunity to revise the ayat that you've memorized during the day. Really, the truth is, you don't lose what you've memorized because of bad memory or that the surah is difficult. You lose what you've memorized because it's not being revised consistently. Inshallah, before you open your mushaf tomorrow, ask yourself, what would change if I gave the Quran my best hour every single day instead of what's left? That, inshallah, is where the transformation begins. And with that, I conclude by saying, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu'Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Until next time, inshallah, astawdi'ukum Allah alladhi la tadi'u wada'i'ah.